There's been a historic meeting between Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu in which the Israeli Prime Minister nominated the US President for the Nobel Peace Prize for helping to neutralize the Iran nuclear threat. The two leaders met at the White House to discuss ways to end the war between Israel and Hamas and foster lasting peace in the Middle East. But there was an unexpected moment when Netanyahu leaned across the dinner table to hand an envelope to Trump, catching the president by surprise.
I want to present to you, Mr. President, the letter I sent to the Nobel Prize Committee. It's nominating you for the Peace Prize, which is well-deserved. And you should get it.
Thank you very much. This I didn't know. Wow. Thank you very much. Coming from you in particular, this is very meaningful.
If anything, this nomination is long overdue, as former White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney told Sky News.
Donald Trump probably should have won the Nobel Prize for the Abraham Accords during the first term. Barack Obama won it for being Barack Obama.
But of course, you can expect the very many people around the world afflicted with Trump derangement syndrome to rail against this nomination. Well, it hardly fits the narrative they've long pushed. Trump is a fascist who would cause World War III. But remember, Israel isn't even the first country to put him forward for the prize. 2 weeks ago, Pakistan formally recommended he receive the honour for his handling of its conflict with India. Before today's meeting, Netanyahu also said Israel and the US were on the verge of finding other countries who would agree to take in Palestinians who wish to leave the war-torn Gaza Strip.
We're working with the United States very closely about finding countries that will seek to realize what they always say, that they want to give the Palestinians a better future, and those who, and I think we're getting close to finding several countries.
Cue the usual hysterics about Israel and the US carrying out ethnic cleansing. But it's important to note the key word in this immigration plan is voluntary.
President Trump had a brilliant vision. It's called free choice. You know, if people want to stay, they can stay. But if they want to leave, they should be able to leave.
And as for the US-backed 60-day ceasefire proposal with Hamas, Netanyahu has 3 red lines, according to Israeli media: the destruction of Hamas, the exile of its leadership from Gaza, and the full disarmament of its militants. Netanyahu also restated his opposition to the creation of a Palestinian state, saying the Palestinians had a state before the October 7 terror attacks, a Hamas state. And if Israel agreed to another state, it would be like committing suicide.
Now people will say it's not a complete state, it's not a state, it's not that. We don't care. You know, we vow never again. Never again is now. It's not going to happen again.
On Iran, Netanyahu compared the neutralized nuclear threat to a tumor, saying the world can't become complacent for fear of a recurrence.
When you remove a tumor, doesn't mean that it can't come back. You have to constantly monitor the situation to make sure that there's no attempt to bring it back. So we've had a great achievement, and I think part of the effort of consolidating this and ensuring that we don't have to repeat this is to monitor this carefully.
And I'll be discussing that meeting and more with Alex Rivchin shortly.